Hello everyone, I'm Sita and welcome back to Airship Dreams Unboxing. I'm very excited to bring to you the next video in our series. We've met Alistair and last time we met Giles, who was involved in making the airship in the film Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Today we're meeting Dr. Nina Baker, who is an amazing engineering historian. Over to you, Nina.
So here I am, ready to unbox two airships that I have in this relatively small box. Airship number 1, airship number 2, and these are both China airships. I mean, it sounds a bit like a lead balloon, doesn't it? So here is airship number 1, and it has a crest on it for Colwyn, Old Colwyn in North Wales. And underneath, I don't know if, even if I push it right up close, people can see, but it's got the maker's marks inside, and it says Arcadia, China. And it was sold in a shop. Even the shop has a stamp on the bottom. It says the Bon Marché, Central Arcade, Old Colwyn. This was made sometime during the First World War, probably towards the end when the Zeppelin raids were happening in Britain, by which time the Arkin stalls had been taken over by somebody else, but it was still called Arcadia, China, and they made a lot of this kind of stuff. And in a way, this and the other one, which I'll get out and I'll talk about them a bit together, in a way, this is kind of like the inverse of what's known as trench art, because these were the very domestic things made at home as souvenirs rather than made in the trench to bring home as souvenirs. So here's my other ship, and this says on it, a present from Hastings. And you'll see this one has the German cross markings on it to show that this is meant to be a Zeppelin. But this one is too. They're both meant to be Zeppelins. This one has sort of a proper tailpiece, and this one doesn't. In the big one, the gondolas, these bits and the passenger bits underneath are more obvious. But neither of them, well, this one perhaps shows the engine a bit better on the back. This one doesn't make any attempt at that. This one was intended as a cruet set, and these holes would have had probably little insert pieces, another China thing for salt and pepper and mustard in the middle. They only seem to be Zeppelins because they were commemorating the Zeppelin raids, which people could see. People travelled to watch the Zeppelin raids. It was considered a tourism spectacle, which, you know, sounds again a bit morbid because people did die in the Zeppelin raids. But those are rather fun from World War I. And the other thing I've got in this packet, this is a book, and this is from a bit later. You probably can't see, I'm just going to move those bit out of the way. And unwrapping this book. I realise you can't actually see what I'm doing. I'm going to have to sort of stand up and do it like that, shouldn't it? So unwrapping this book. So here we have an airship-shaped book, and it's called Airways, and you can see that it's been cut to make the airship shape. It was printed in Germany, but clearly for the English-speaking market, and probably was sold in either Britain and or America, because it's about an airship travelling across the Atlantic to America. Now, the interesting thing about this is that the story itself is about an airship that never was. So here we have the beginning of the story, and this book was given for Roy, wishing you a very Merry Christmas from Auntie Mary, 1929. There's very little information online as to who produced these, what they cost, what date even. Different websites suggest different dates. So it's got a mixture of coloured pictures, like that one. And then it's got these other pictures which were printed in red, but Roy has quite carefully sort of watercoloured them in. This is the story of the R-37. And the R-37 was one of a group of airships, the 33, the 34, the 35, 36, and 37. The 34 flew, but the 37 was scrapped before she was completed. She was 90% complete. The gas bags were in, the engines had been tested, and then the war ended. They didn't need her anymore, and she was scrapped in 1921. But this is presumably what the inside of that class of ship looked like when they were carrying passengers as opposed to doing wartime things. And it's very much like being in an upmarket railway sleeping compartment. And in fact, the parallel is made in the story of how similar it is to a railway cabin. It's not like being in a ship's cabin exactly. Everything has to fold away, everything has to be very small and lightweight. So you see these pictures, and they're clearly taken from photographs of the R-34 and the ones of that class. So we're taken into the engines and into the galley to see the man cooking, the chef cooking. And we see the passengers and the crew, the officers in the steering cabin, what I would think of as the bridge of a ship. And they were mostly naval people in their naval uniforms. So here you can see, they're flying over America, and you can see they're waving to the people down below. And here it is, a very dramatic nighttime scene, almost certainly again taken from a similar photo. And this is the last page. Here they are in New York. And this is pretty much the story of what the R-34 did, and the R-37 never got the opportunity to do. I think this was probably produced to sell very much into the elite market, perhaps even to the people who might be traveling on airships. You can imagine if you were perhaps going on an expensive cruise and you wanted to take something back for the grandchildren, there might be a book about the ship. And I feel that this is in that class of thing. This was an expensive item, lots of colour printing, and this die-cut shape to make the airship shape of the book. And airship travel would have been very much an elitist thing as well. So here have been my book, my children's book, The Airways, beautifully coloured book for children, and the China airships that I bought on eBay. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about them and my enjoyment of them. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Nina for sharing her brilliant objects and stories. Nina has written a new book, Adventures in Aeronautical Design, The Life of Hilda M. Lyon, and I highly recommend you check it out. Has this unboxing video inspired you? Do you have items or stories connected to airships? I would love to hear from you. Please get in touch and I can help you share your stories and get involved with our project. Please do email hello@airshipdreams.com or tag us on Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag Airship Dreams. For more information, just head to our website, airshipdreams.com. Keep airship dreaming and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.